This is Hy-Vee Construction's Safety Introduction for Subcontractor Employees. It will introduce you to our safety procedures and rules. It is only an introduction. Site-specific hazards and conditions require additional training. Many of our safety requirements exceed OSHA standards. Hy-Vee Construction is committed to creating the safest and healthiest sites possible. Working safely is a contract requirement and condition of employment. A safe job site requires everyone's cooperation, including yours. Class E hard hats must be worn properly at all times during all work activities. Inspect your hard hat frequently for suspension and shell damage. Make sure your hard hat has not expired. Hard hats should be replaced every 5 years. Safety glasses meeting ANSI Z87 shall be worn at all times during all work activities. Prescription safety glasses must be ANSI Z87 and have approved side shields. Safety glasses are the first line of defense against eye injuries. Steady work boots must be worn during all work activities. Protecting your feet from injury is your responsibility. Impermeable rubber boots may also be required, depending on the task at hand. Approved steel-toe boots and metatarsal guards are required for hazardous operations, such as jackhammering. Full-length pants and high-visibility shirts with 4-inch sleeves are required. High-visibility shirts or vests are required during all work activities. Shorts, cut-off pants, tank tops, and sleeveless shirts are not permitted. Face shields must be worn in addition to safety glasses for activities such as grinding, cutting steel or metal, chipping, buffing, and working with chemicals. A hard hat is required under welding hoods. Review SDS information with all chemicals to determine specific safety precautions. Hearing protection must be worn when working in high-noise areas, where the decibel level is above 90. If you need to raise your voice to speak to someone 3 feet away, you should be using hearing protection. Certain chemicals or job site conditions require the use of impermeable gloves. Appropriate gloves are required during most work activities. Gloves will prevent cuts, splinters, scrapes, and burns. However, keep gloves away from rotating equipment. Never wear loose clothing or dangling jewelry around moving machinery. Remove finger rings and earrings before beginning work. Rings caught on materials have caused serious finger injuries. Long hair must be tied back and secured while working. In 2014, 4,679 workers were killed on the job. That's almost 90 per week, or more than 13 deaths every day. Construction is one of the most dangerous industries, which resulted in 1 in 5 workers' deaths last year. OSHA has identified 4 areas called Fatal 4 that produce the most serious and many times fatal consequences. These focus areas are falls, electrocutions, struck by, and caught in between. Falls from elevated surfaces account for 40% of all construction fatalities. Fall protection and prevention is mandatory and must be used whenever performing elevated work with a potential fall height of 6 feet or more. There are several methods of fall protection and prevention, including hazard elimination using Job Safety Analysis or JSA, guardrail systems, personal fall arrest systems, warning line systems, controlled access zones, hole covers, barricades, good housekeeping, and cleanup. Each subcontractor and employee is required to fill out their safety pre-construction and job safety analysis paperwork prior to beginning work. All guardrails shall have a top edge height of 39 to 45 inches and be capable of withstanding without failure a force of at least 200 pounds applied in any outward or downward direction. A midrail should be placed to limit the maximum opening to 19 inches and be able to withstand without failure a force of at least 150 pounds applied in any outward or downward direction. The minimum height of a toe board must be at least 3 inches and be able to withstand 50 pounds of force. Hy-Vee construction requires the uses of full-body harnesses and shock-absorbing lanyards with double-action snap hooks when other means of fall prevention are not available. These anchor points must be capable of supporting 5,000 pounds per person and limit free fall to no more than 6 feet. Warning lines mark off an area within which one can do roofing work without using guardrails or safety nets. Warning lines must be erected at least 6 feet back from the edge of the roof or working surface for roofing work and 15 feet back for non-roofing work. The line must be located at a height of 34 to 39 inches and flagged every 6 feet. Hole covers and barricades are used to protect employees from falling into openings in floors, roofs, and other surfaces. Any opening over 2 inches must be properly protected. Weekly job site cleanup is mandatory for all personnel on site every Thursday at a time designated by the project superintendent. Scaffolding must be erected, moved, dismantled, and altered only under the supervision of a competent person. An OSHA competent person is one who has a full understanding of the standards governing the work activity, who is capable of identifying existing and predictable hazards, and who can take prompt corrective actions. Scaffolding requires a daily inspection. Scaffolds must be capable of supporting at least 4 times the maximum intended load. Handrails and toe boards will be installed on all open sides and ends of scaffolds more than 6 feet off the ground or floor. Scaffolding legs and bases must be solid, pinned, and level. Before scaffolding can be put into service, it must be tagged properly. The tag must be signed by the OSHA competent person and installed at or near the accessway. A red tag indicates the scaffold is not complete and is not safe to use. A yellow tag indicates the scaffolding is safe to use but has been modified to accommodate job requirements and is not fully completed. A harness and lanyard attached to a secured anchor point is required to work on yellow tag scaffolds. A green tag indicates a safe, fully completed scaffold. Only Type 1 or 1A heavy-duty fiberglass ladders shall be used on our job sites. Ladders must be inspected prior to each use for defects or other damages. Secure all extension ladders from movement by using a 1/2-inch rope or similar strength material at the top or base. The ladder must extend 3 feet above the walking surface. Set up ladders according to the manufacturer's specifications and in locations that will not contribute to additional hazards. Electrical safety is something we take very seriously at Hy-Vee Construction. Everyone must use lockout-tagout procedures established in accordance with OSHA standards to control hazardous energy while working on energized equipment or systems. Prior to work, all energy sources must be reduced to a zero-energy state. In addition, many serious fires and equipment damage can be caused by contact with electric lines and conductors. Only use electrical equipment that is in good, serviceable, and safe condition. All portable tools must be grounded unless they are approved double insulated. All extension cords must be grounded and designed for hard or extra hard use. Extension cords should not be plugged into extension cords unless the extension cord states that it is allowed. Carefully place or hang cords in areas that will prevent them from being driven over and will eliminate potential tripping hazards. Inspect all cords, electric tools, and equipment visually before each day's use for damage and defects. Remove damaged equipment from service or do not use until repaired. Electrical tape is not a repair. A GFCI must be used on all job sites with all electric-powered tools. Struck by accidents in construction, primarily from mobile equipment, are the third leading cause of deaths on construction projects. Forklift and skid steering equipment are commonly used on our projects. Whenever working around equipment, make sure the operator can see you. Never work or enter into the operator's blind spot. The swing radius of cranes, including the lifting and hoisting area, shall be guarded to prevent others from being struck or crushed. Crane operators, please refer to the mobile crane requirements for additional information. Daily lift plans are required for all crane activities. Before each use or at the beginning of each shift, you must conduct a visual inspection of any equipment you operate. Ensure all controls function properly. Visually inspect tires for any foreign objects that could damage work in place. Lifts should have diapers in place and be checked frequently for leaks. Each person working in a boom-supported platform must wear a full-body harness and shock-absorbing lanyard attached to an approved anchor point. If operating a scissor lift, be sure to latch the safety chain prior to each use. Operators are held responsible for the safe operation of equipment. Only properly trained and certified operators will be allowed to operate cranes, mobile equipment, skid steers, and forklifts. Training and the recognition of trench and excavation hazards and in the best methods of protection is required before work begins. Prior to any excavation, a daily dig permit and the excavation sloping guideline worksheet must be completed. Excavations over 5 feet must be sloped, shored, or shielded and must meet all OSHA requirements. All excavations and trenches deeper than 4 feet must have ladders within 25 feet of travel. OSHA requires all energy sources to the machine or equipment to be reduced to a zero-energy state during work, including maintenance and repair. Always pay attention to your surroundings. These lockout-tagout procedures were created to protect you. A hot work permit is required for any temporary operation involving open flames or producing heat and/or sparks. This includes, but is not limited to, brazing, cutting, grinding, soldering, thawing pipe, torch-applied roofing, and welding. Please pre-plan any hot work with your project superintendent. Portable fire extinguishers must be distributed so that the travel distance for employees to any extinguishers is 75 feet or less. Report unsafe conditions immediately to the project superintendent. You are not required to work under any unsafe or life-threatening conditions. Your safety is important to us. The project superintendent has the authority to remove anyone that does not conform to or obey these safety rules and regulations. Each violation may result in a reduction of $300 from your employer's subcontract sum. Serious safety violations such as fall protection violations, trench cave-in protection violations, and energized electrical violations will result in a fine of up to $3,000 and will not be able to work on any Hy-Vee construction project for 6 months. All Hy-Vee construction job sites are violence, alcohol, and drug-free. Violations of this policy will result in disciplinary actions up to and including termination. Mandatory stand-up meetings must be attended by the subcontractor foreman from each subcontractor actively working on site. These meeting times are established by the project superintendent. Subcontractors must turn in toolbox talks weekly to the project superintendent, as well as provide a current SDS manual that will be located inside the job site trailer. Report all damage to work in place or material stored to the project superintendent immediately. Always be mindful when working in an operating store. Others may not recognize the potential hazards in their surroundings. At Hy-Vee Construction, we encourage all construction personnel to protect each other. Now, our project superintendent will review the project orientation agreement form and project-specific safety issues to complete this safety orientation.